Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. The soundboard isn't ready, so this is still the Blue Heaven Podcast. Meh. That works. That's a
soundboard.
That's a sound effect. What is going on, Dodgers Nation? Happy Friday to you that are joining us live. My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on the Twitter and the Instagram.
Guys, my name is Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, the wild card just keeps getting wilder.
That'd do.
Moss Wilder.
Moss Wilder. Wait, I thought it was Van Wilder.
Different movie.
Fine movie. Different times. You guys remember movies? I think they're open again. Are you happy now? Are we happy now? We will find out later on in the show. The Anaheim Angels visit the Los Angeles Dodgers of Los Angeles in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles for that Hollywood lifestyle. I'm looking forward to that. Crappy final series before we eventually get to the playoff thing.
What a bad way to end the season on the Angels.
The Anaheim.
God, that's the worst. At least we're not playing at Angel Stadium where Dodgers go to die. So that's good. Hamstrings go to die. Excuse me.
Another thing we're wondering, another little quandary we have from this past week or to almost 2 weeks of games is when is house money maybe just a little bit kind of a bad thing. You know,
who's House Money? Is that a new rapper?
That's actually Joe Kelly's nickname.
It's actually a really good nickname, to be honest.
Got the board back.
I'm proud of you.
Do the words,
guys. Don't forget, this is a live show. I know we're not usually live on Friday. Friday Drive at 5. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah,
something like that. We're a fake radio show over here. This is a live show, though. It's not Monday, but it is Friday, and we are live in front of you in person in the flesh. So make sure you drop into those comments. Let us know where you're watching tonight. Let us know where you're repping Dodgers Nation, whether it be on Periscope or Facebook or Twitch or...
My finger hurts.
YouTube. That's the other one. Good job.
I was waiting.
I'm going to jump into those comments a little bit just to say hello to some people. Dodger Reyes over on Facebook is from checking in from El Centro, California. That's like in the South Center.
Bill. No, go with him. Because he made it. Did you have a spicy one?
Roach says, how do we break into Dodger Stadium? See Miller Park for reference. And that, if you have not seen that video, it will change your life because I have how are people breaking into stadiums with such ease?
Right?
Because Dodger Stadium, I was just there. It's pretty hard to get into. It's pretty difficult to get into. So I'm trying to figure out, number one, how that fan snuck into Fenway in the first place and got on top of the Green Monster is beyond me.
Yeah.
And then a guy breaks into Miller Park, hops on a tractor, carves his name in the dirt, runs over the pitcher's mound, and then just walks around.
2020, you keep doing you, boo. But also, if you could please stop, we would be eternally grateful because, you know.
I'm grateful for moments like that, though.
Because of all the bad things.
Leslie Taylor checking in from Facebook says, Happy Friday, boys. Leslie, always a pleasure to see you in the stream. Good to see you. Happy Friday.
Danny's watching in Gardena, drinking a beer. Hey, we're we're hosting in South Pasadena, drinking a beer. So cheers to you, our friend Danny over on Periscope.
It's Friday, so now the people watching can drink with us.
I mean,
because apparently people who have jobs don't apparently drink during the week often, so I've been judged.
Are you not entertained?
I drink during the week.
JT Swifty over on Periscope says where we put avocado on everything in reference to that Hollywood lifestyle because Tony Two Bags Anthony Rendon is in town. Miguel says this is hot. Thank you.
Like it's
I'll
hot in
give
here?
you a ball.
Oh.
I used my ball early. I just decided that's a new
instead of the pen.
That could be a new gag because Kate says happy Saturday. Hey, listen, we don't take that communist stuff. That's not fair. That's not nice. That's not cool. Boys in Blue Guerra on YouTube says cheers. Cheers to everybody. Mello asks, isn't the Top Deck store open? Yes, actually, I did a post on the DodgersNation.com. Check it out every day. Click on everything, please. It sustains us, quite literally. But yeah, Dodger Stadium Top of the Park team store is open. If you're trying to get postseason merch, I have postseason. Wait, where? I don't know. It says postseason 2020 on my hat. I'm very happy with this hat. It's a good hat. It's a quality hat. Best hat I've bought this year, and I bought two because I did go to spring training once.
And they got shut down right after that.
Days. But yeah, they're open, but I think you have to pre-order for any postseason stuff. So check out at Dodgers Top of the Park on Instagram for more details on that, or check out the post on DodgersNation.com. Yum.
That was really good. I just realized Kate said happy Saturday because Kate's in a different part of the world, you see.
Yeah, that was the whole.
I was not processing that entirely.
The whole communist thing.
Yeah, I don't get it.
They're not. I don't think they're
understand.
communists. I don't know.
Well, all right.
I don't know where I am.
Let's talk about this upcoming wild card series because first of all, we still don't know who we're facing, and I think it might come down to even Monday who we're actually facing in the wild card series. Cardinals still got to play some out.
Yeah.
There's potential tiebreaker situations that have to be played out still, possibly on Monday. There's a lot that can happen between now and then.
Yeah.
There's like 5 different opponents that we could possibly be facing.
And
You look past number 4 in the NL, and you're like, we could face any one of those guys at any point because it's how do you say it nicely? It's wild.
I get it because that's how it was titled.
Because it's a wild card.
So right now, as of now, the Dodgers would be lined up to play those San Francisco Giants, which, as we ran a poll recently on our Dodgers Nation Twitter, at Dodgers Nation, fans were the most frightened to play the Giants. I don't know how we feel now, how fans feel that much further removed from it, but Giants are there in that 8 spot. But since he's hot right now, because Trevor Bauer's trying to start every single game for them that he can, but the problem with that, I wouldn't say the problem with that, because all of a sudden you had that I wouldn't say a fear, but sort of that expectation. Look, it's either going to be the Cincinnati Reds or the SF Giants. But if Cincy wins, because they play 3, let me see. I had it lined up somewhere. Cincy plays 3 against Minnesota Twins. Rich Hill finishes the season. Our pal Dick Mountain, get more into him a little bit later.
More into Dick.
Hill. You have to say it. Yeah, it's Mountain.
Yeah.
Mountain. Since he plays 3 against Minnesota, and St. Louis plays 4 against Milwaukee, they had a doubleheader going today. They could flip. All of a sudden, the Cardinals could be in that 7th or 8th seed, where if it's 8, the Dodgers play them for 8. So it's like Phillies are out right now. They're on the outside looking in. Brewers are on the outside looking in. Who was the other team? The Mets are like hanging on by the tiniest sliver. But it's an interesting situation. So let's say all of a sudden now, because we've talked to it says say hi to Michael.
Michael.
I will not. I won't.
I did. Hi, Michael.
I mean, I did it as part of it. So we've talked a number of times, or a few times, or a handful of times about the potential of facing those Reds and how the Reds are kind of scary because they can line up a good rotation. And in a 3-game wild card series, it's all based on rotation. And I don't know about you, but in 2020, who do you want starting game 1? Do you want it to be Bauer on short rest, or do you want it to be Kershaw on full rest, or 5, 6, 7 days? It's a rhetorical question because we're going to find out more.
Not supposed to answer.
Yeah, we don't really need to get too much into it right now on those games and the matchups and the particulars of it, because we can do that next week when we go live again on Monday, and we're going to know all of the fine details. We're hoping to have some fun on Monday, by the way.
JT Swifty over on Periscope says, if I remember correctly, our track record against Cardinals in the postseason isn't great. And my goodness, did you hit that one on the head? And that is, talk about like Vietnam flashbacks going off in your head. There's some
especially for Kirsch.
Some bad thoughts that go along with the Cardinals in the postseason. It pretty much defined all of my college years watching the Dodgers, which is just perfect.
Still, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. They have the best players,
Allegedly.
The best bodies, so you shouldn't have that fear about anybody else. I say it on bracket day. Hi, Mac. I don't know. I don't know if she watches. I don't know if they get internet up there.
College?
College, yeah, they can't afford internet in college these days. Mello brings up Kershaw 2014 LDS Game 1. I was there. It was awful, but somebody a Cardinal fan gave me a free beer in the right field pavilion because he was nice and I was sad. So shout out
nice.
in your face, sucker. To that guy.
That guy.
Just that guy. I'm going to wait for him to hop in the comments. We're going to be here for a while. Are you worried about any of this yet, or is it just wait and see what happens and make your plan on Monday and going forward?
I'm not really worried about who we face, honestly. If you're looking at it, if you're telling me that we're going to face the toughest of the teams that, we're potentially talking about, whoever that might be, I look at it a few different ways. I still think the Reds are the toughest team that we could face in a 3-game series. If you're asking me about a 5-game series, I would say the Reds are not the toughest team that you could face. But in a 3-game series, I would say it's the Reds. And if that's the case, I accept the challenge. I welcome it. I think the Dodgers need that fire underneath them to carry them through the playoffs. I think that too often over the past couple of years, they've been lulled into the playoffs, and that's why they haven't really done particularly well. If you look at the 2018 World Series run, which they had no business being a part of whatsoever, that's a good example of it. They didn't have much of a runway to the playoffs. They didn't really have much of a runway to the World Series. And arguably, the better team did not win the championship series. And that definitely showed. So regardless of who it is, I'm okay with it. I want a challenge. I think that the Dodgers can take any team that's out there. I'm not too worried about it. I will say I'm more worried about a 3-game series than I am about a 5-game series, though.
Oh, yeah.
And which is, I think, rightfully so.
Yeah. Digging into a few comments here. Javi's positive about the Reds. He says Dodgers never struggle versus right-handed pitching, so the Reds starting pitching doesn't worry him as much.
But there are changeups that come along with right-handed pitching, and when you have right-handed pitching facing left-handed hitters, that changeup has proved to be devastating to some of our best left-handed hitters. One in particular, by the name of Corey Seager, who cannot find a way to touch a changeup. So, with that in mind, that part of it is scary. Trevor Bauer, as far as I know, doesn't really have a changeup, so for him, I'm not super worried about that. He tends to dot the fastball and bury a curveball. He kind of is predictable in that way, but he's had success.
He has.
He's putting up the 3,000 RPM spin on his curveball this year, so things are different for him.
Yeah, it'll be fun. At least it'll be fun. Dante on YouTube says record don't matter. It's who gets hot and who going to choke in the playoffs. Well, I mean,
yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's all sports, really. And with now the added wild card and somebody could sneak in, that's a big thing right now too with the Reds is they're hot right now. Sorry, the Cincinnati Buds are hot right now. They've reeled off like 7 in a row or 7 of 8, something like that. They're doing well. Adrian's taking the card side here, saying I'm not intimidated by the 2020 Cards. I love to see some redemption in the way of the Dodgers knocking out the Cardinals. Now, how great would that be?
That would be poetry. I would accept that poetry.
And we will find a way to buy a life-size cardboard cutout of Matt Stairs and just stab it. It's cardboard cutout, so it doesn't have feelings. But
Matt Stairs and Matt Carpenter have both ruined my life, pretty much.
But all right, for Carpenter, we'll just get the salsa and smash it.
This cheap ass salsa, this ketchup salsa.
Whack, what kind of white boy knows how to make good salsa? Whack ass, but no. Anyways, you have to see. We're censoring ourselves. We know what I know exactly what I'm saying in my
Roach
head.
says I don't have any expectations for the Dodgers in October. I can't get hurt if I don't expect anything, and that is the best way to go into playoffs.
Way to go, Boomer.
I think one of the best things about the Dodgers being eliminated from the playoffs last year was the fact that you could enjoy playoff baseball without having skin in the game, right?
Yeah,
it was fun. That was the first
fun.
time that since 2000, I don't know. 2012 was the last time they missed the play. No, was it 2012?
No,
I don't know. 2013 was their start of their run.
This is 8, and then so it's 12.
So whatever.
They just missed it in 12.
That's the last time that I fully enjoyed Major League Baseball playoffs. It's been a long time since I fully enjoyed it. I did enjoy it all the way up until Game 7 of the 2017 World Series. That's when it started to really go downhill for me. It got really bad after that.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Whatever. Lakers are doing well too. So.
Dennis Rogers wants more of a throwback. He wants a Jack Clark too. You know what? We'll find the Jack Clark one too, and just stab them both.
Stab every large cutout of a Cardinal we can find.
That's the sound of stabbing. So we'll find out a lot more over this weekend. Dodgers have 3 against the Anna Slimes, and again, there's baseball going on right now, so maybe later on in the show, even though it's all going to be pointless as a podcast because everybody's going to know what happened on Friday night as a podcast. But you know what? Anyway, how about this last week or this last series, really, because we were live on Monday or Tuesday. It's Monday. So Dodgers played 3 against the Oakland A's. Along the way, we clinched, I say we liberally, we clinched our 8th straight National League West crown. We were the first in baseball to win 40 games. We secured the number 1 seed to the playoffs. They took that series 2-1, 2 wins to 1 losses, as they say, against the American League West Division champion Oakland Athletics. It's another series win. Dodgers have only lost 1 series this year. I think they've tied, 4?
4 series.
So I didn't do the math on how many we've won, but we've done well. We have a chance to do one more against the Anna Slimes here. I wanted to note this. Friend of the show, or one of our writers, one of our contributors to Dodgers Nation, Eric Ulo, does a show called The Series Sweep. It's kind of a passion project of his. I want to shout him out a little bit on the show. He's humping. He's putting in work. He's doing between every series, he's doing a new episode on his YouTube channel. So check out The Series Sweep. Find it somewhere. Just do that. I'll wait. But yeah, check it out. It's a cool way to say it. So if you're inclined to give him a click, we'd appreciate any feedback. Trying to get that show a little bit tighter and just give him some notes. And he's having fun. Good. He likes the boys in blue, as they say.
We've been all known to. We've all been known to. We have all been known to. There you go.
So 3 against Oakland, supposed air quote good team. Are we happy now?
I've never been happy.
Because
everybody knows that.
Heading into that series, there was a lot of BS about the Dodgers haven't played any good teams, air quote good teams. They've been playing a lot of 500 or under teams.
I mean, they made the A's look pretty bad.
They did.
I mean, the A's definitely did not look. The A's look like the A's that you've known them to be, not the A's of the Tampa Bay Ray caliber. So, yeah, I'm satisfied. I like what they did against the A's with way less skin in the game, by the way. I mean, these games had virtually no meaning for the Dodgers going into the final turn of the season. So, for them to show up like that, for them to bring the bats, for them to bring the arms, more than anything for this series, it was, hey, how is Walker Buehler going to come out of his start? That was all I was concerned about. The Dodgers could have lost last night 25-0, and I probably wouldn't have cared at all. All I want to know is that Walker Buehler got through his start okay and looked decent. And he did get through his start, and he didn't look just decent. He looked amazing. He did look fantastic.
He did look really good at the sports ball pitching, which is what you want around this time of the season. Did he answer enough questions for you about that blister?
So I don't know if you know. Did you notice how many times he looked down at it during the start?
More than you would be comfortable with him
Way
doing?
more than you would be comfortable with him doing. It seemed like every time he was walking off the mound, he was doing this, and I was like, "Oh, stop looking at your finger!" I was just waiting for
he's out
of
is.
game.
You know how it is when you have that, or you have like a little something on your cheek, or like a scab or whatever. You just can't help it. It's that human nature, because you know what your finger feels like, and your thumb brushes past it, so you just do that, and you're like, "Wait, what is this?" Oh yeah, I know, brain dumb. So we'll give him a case of the passive brain dumbs on that. That's a new statement, so I want to stop here and wait for Merriam-Webster to add that. Brain dumbs, all one word.
I did like how he used his curveball a lot. And that was a really telling sign for me, because if you guys don't know, that particular finger is very important in how you throw a curveball. You can get by throwing a fastball with a blister on your finger. You can do it for a while. And it seemed like in the start before, he was leaning on that fastball pretty hard, and he was throwing it 100 miles an hour in that start, and probably because that's all he was throwing. But when you're talking about that curveball, you're getting the grip on your index, or what's this finger called? The middle one? Is it called the middle finger?
It's called the middle finger.
On your middle finger. That's where
finger.
most of your grip relies on. That's where most of the pressure comes from on a curveball.
This finger right here.
That one.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, really good thing that he's throwing that a lot. I think that was really telling. I think they went into that start like, hey, you're going to need to prove to us that you can throw a lot of curveballs.
Yeah.
And so we know you're healthy. Otherwise, they might have held him out another week, and we might not have seen him till the second series of the playoffs. But fastball looked good, had a lot of life on it. Curveball was ridiculous, dirty, disgusting. I know Matt Olson has struck out like every at bat of the season so far, but he made Matt Olson look pretty ridiculous. So I felt good.
Slider didn't look good for old Walker. It looked like he didn't have much control or comfort with it. The slider, I can see that putting a lot more pressure. So Walker's a knuckle curve kind of guy, right?
Yep.
I think so. That takes even more pressure off of that index finger. I could see him doing that. Wanting to make sure that pitch is straightened out, and you have your fastball. If he's able to throw his fastball a whole bunch, he threw sim games, so he has the feel, he has the control of the fastball. What he wants is that curveball. He needs a secondary pitch. Walker kind of does go to the cutter a decent amount, and in the post game last night on after his start on Thursday, they had mentioned that I think Dave mentioned that he kind of feels the blister the most on the cutter. So he only threw like 5 of them on Thursday night, but expect a lot more fastball curveball, I guess, out of Walker, which is not bad when they're both elite pitches. And before we went live here, we were talking a little bit about Joe Kelly and how Joe Kelly's throwing 60% curveballs for some reason. People who saw Joe Kelly air quote start for the first time since 2016, he threw 14, I think it was 16 or 17 of his 22 pitches were curveballs. Maybe they feel confident in their fastballs and they're trying to figure out the curveball. They're trying to get postseason ready, if you will. And there isn't minor league baseball. There isn't really good competition outside of the major league level, and there is not any training facilities anywhere. So it makes sense, yada, yada. Thank you.
I'm really glad we were all here for that. Yeah, really, really.
It was whatever. It's a brain dump. I wanted to get the Joe Kelly thing in there, and sometimes you just got to YOLO. I still with him picking at the blister, though, you do worry because we've talked about it. I think we talked about it earlier this week or last week. The what's that thing called? Rich Hill.
The blister?
We had for years the master of all things blister, Mr. Richard Hill, Dick Mountain, if you will. Apparently, the two spoke, Mr. Rich Hill and Walker Buehler, still friends, still teammates from former teammates, played together last year before that. Rich Hill gave him some advice, and I'm a little concerned. I mean, I guess if it's working, but if anybody was around back in those days and remembered what advice Rich Hill had, or what he was trying everything, old Richie, and I unearthed one of the very, very earliest episodes of Blue Heaven, back with the other guy who used to host the show with me back in the golden times of May-ish 2018. And here's a bit of a clip about what exactly Rich Hill figured out in his trials of blister management.
But yeah, you could definitely tell Roberts is frustrated. Hill's frustrated. We're all frustrated, but we can't say Richie isn't trying, because per this latest quotable quote from Andy McCullough, Hill has been experimenting with various treatments for the blisters, including freaking laser beams, laser beam therapy, literally peeing on his hand, and worst of all, chugging apple cider vinegar.
Nobody should ever do any of those things.
Yeah, those are all very, very bad.
I think I saw.
So you can pee on your blister and it all gets better. How important is the World Series to you? Would you pee on Walker Buehler's hand?
Would I pee on his hand?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do that any day, regardless of World Series or not. Whatever he wants. But we should make it clear, we don't do pee stuff on this show.
We do not do pee stuff. Despite the ask from Padres fans that they pee on us, no.
We don't do it.
No.
We don't do it, guys. I'm so sorry.
We do not do that. But yeah, with that said, I hope that Richie did not give Walker all of that advice. I think they found something. Maybe they went with my friends over there at RipVix. Wait for more merch. The other thing I wanted to talk about, in what we talked about earlier this week, was the things we are going to learn this week. One of them was Walker, that we kind of just, bled into there, if you will, because it's not a moist blister, so it's not very bloody. But I brought it back. Is Kenley okay now? We've seen one more outing since Monday. 4 scoreless innings since the incident against Houston. What have you seen with Kenley, and what do you like?
Well, somebody brought it up today I forget who on the media call is, so I can't give them credit like I would like to give them credit.
Bill Plunkett.
Was it Plunkett who talked about his pitch
Yeah,
mix?
and I have that whole clip that we'll play in a minute.
So I won't spoil it too much, but I do like the fact that Kenley is not leaning very, very heavily on dotting his cutter.
Mm-hmm.
When you can tell when he's just too on that, when he's too dialed into his cutter and trying to dot it somewhere, and he's all over the map on his pitches. Not quite effective, doesn't look as great, but I do like the pitch mix that he's bringing. I do like how he's mixing in the slider more effectively, not just more. He's doing it more effectively in better situations. He's burying it when he needs to, instead of just hanging it up there and hoping that it messes with the batter's timing or something like that. So I will say that I like that. In terms of comfort level going into the playoffs, I'm still just up in the air. You just never know what you're going to get out of Kenley. But on that, I don't know if you saw that, but Justin Turner just won the Roy Campanella Award.
Roy Campanella Award. So congrats to where's the clap? Let's give Justin Turner the clap. Red Turn 2, potentially his final Roy Campanella Award. It's not going to be his final. Do you see him going anywhere? No, absolutely
There's no
not.
way. There's no way he's gone next year.
Back on to Kenley. Like you were alluding to, Mr. William Plunkett, friend of the show, Bill, OC Register alum, not alum, veteran, genius, mastermind of words. He invented several, maybe. Anyways, yeah, he asked Doc today about his thoughts on Kenley. Kind of it was unprovoked in a way, you know, I guess you can say. We haven't talked that much about Kenley since the incident, and this is where Dave's at with Kenley.
Dave, a year ago at this time, we were asking you an awful lot of questions about Kenley Jansen and possibly having less faith in him as a closer or as your closer. How different is the situation this year?
It's considerably different. I think that if you look at, I don't know how many Bill appearances he's made, you know, call it 24, 25. There's been 3 that haven't gone well. But outside of that, it's been pretty dang good. And the recency has been good. I expect to get him in there tonight and get him in there on Sunday. But for me, it's I'm just happy to see Kenley's healthy and he's throwing the baseball the way he should.
Is that just the nature of the job that he could go 25 for 26 and it's the one that he messed up that everybody focuses on?
I think so. You know, it's the role or the bed that relievers have made themselves, and then now you're talking about a closer where, yeah, when he has a bad night, you typically lose. So Kenley is continuing to grow and get thicker skin. He's just such a good competitor. He cares about his teammates, and he wants to play well. So, but I'm just happy he's healthy. He's in a good place, and I expect him to pitch tonight, Sunday, and be ready to go for the postseason.
How comfortable are you with his makeover as a pitcher, changing the pitch mix, kind of expanding things?
Very comfortable. I think that I like the way he's sequencing the right way now. I also like the way that he's thrown with conviction from the first pitch. I think that that's really important to see. He's commanding the baseball considerably better than he was, and you brought up last year, than he was last year. So those are things that I look for that they're easy things to bet on.
Thank you, Dave.
You got it.
I do, as I push the button here again, I do feel you know me, I'm going to go negative.
I don't know you.
Hi, pleasure to meet you. I can't touch you. I tend to lean negative on this show, and especially with Kenley.
We're a good balance.
As much as I said in the worry column about Ken on Monday, he had one outing in between. It's 4 in a row. The greater body of work, like Dave said, you know, there's 24 outings, 20 of them are really good.
Right.
There's only 3 bad outings, 2 incredibly terrible outings, or 1 incredibly terrible, 1 very, very bad. So I'm ready to give him some confidence. I'm ready to give him my confidence. I will put my eggs in the Kenley basket, I guess.
Get your eggs out of his basket.
Well, I did it with consent, by the way.
So you're saying, okay,
as long as he's only getting 3 outs.
Do you think that this year is different in his, I don't even know if you want to call it a leash in the postseason. I guess you can call it a leash in the postseason. Let's say we go into the wild card series, pitches in all 3 games somehow. He shouldn't pitch in all 3 games, but let's say he does find a way to pitch in all 3 games and looks shaky at best. You go into the next series and say, still our guy in the 9th inning. Or does Dave say, you know what, we're just going to ride the hot hand, and whoever's feelings are hurt, screw it. We're trying to win a World Series this year.
I think by that point, yeah, you'll know. If you are able to survive the wild card round with a shaky Kenley, you've been gifted an opportunity to make that change, and I think we can hopefully feel confident in saying Dave Roberts will make that change, because he did it last year. Joe Kelly came on, pitched two innings, or tried to pitch 2 innings. The second one was bad in the end of the game against the eventual World Series winning Washington Nationals, but Kenley was on the bench. He was sitting there. By the end of the season, there was a whole lot less Kenley, and it was getting pretty apparent, and last year was very bad for Ken. So I can see them giving him that leash. But if they end up like 1-1 and they could have won, and maybe he lost the game, maybe Kenley lost the game or something like that, Dave is going to be a little bit more liberal with that.
I think
leash.
This is the first year too where let's go back to 2018, 2019. If you're looking at 2018 and 2019, the years where Kenley really the wheels started to fall off for Kenley. You didn't really have the other option. You weren't looking at it and saying, like, we have guys that can close out games. Why not mix those guys in? You had guys who were decent relievers or guys who could get the job done, but you didn't have a guy that you're like, that guy could be nails. That guy could lock it down. That guy could absolutely close games. 2020 is different in the sense of we have several guys that can fill the gaps in the middle just as well as they can close down a game. So you look at guys like Buehler, who has the potential to be a closer long-term in the future. Yeah. As soon as he gets his swing and miss stuff up.
Even without the strikeouts, though?
Even without the strikeout. As soon as he gets his swing and miss stuff up, Buehler Gradall is going to be shutting down games for the Dodgers, and Kenley's going to be on his way out because he's going to be expensive. But you look at some other guys, the guys that do miss bats, the guys that have been really successful this year. Maybe they're not as good as this year has been, but they are riding this year. You look at guys like Jake McGee, who's throwing his fastball like 95, 96% of the time or something like that. And it's going to be a fastball, and you know it's going to be in fastball. But you look at his swing and miss rate, and you're looking at him and saying, like, that guy could close out games. Yeah. You're looking at guys like Blake Trinan, who just is a ground ball type of guy, but can also miss bats.
Yeah.
Another guy that can close out games. You look at Joe Kelly. When Joe Kelly is on, and you don't know what you're going to get in playoff Joe Kelly this year, especially this year, but when Joe Kelly is on in the playoffs, he is untouchable. And we learned that the hard way in 2018. So it's different. On a friend of the show, on Periscope says closer by committee is the safe choice. And honestly, going into the playoffs, I think you have to go in with that open mind. I think Dave has to go in thinking, no matter what, we're going to ride the hot hand. Whoever can deliver, whoever can get the job done is going to get the job done. So I hope that it's Kenley. I hope that Kenley is the guy that gets the job done. I hope he's the hot hand that we can go to and say, game's over. He's in the game. Let's get it done. But you just never know.
And we're seeing a lot of changes with the Dodgers and the way they're operating things, more of the opener, and we're going to get into the bullpenning games a little bit later in the show. If anything, this will be the year for them to do something that we can consider for the Dodgers and Dave Roberts as radical, as in not exclusively relying on Clayton Kershaw and Kenley Jansen to do every single thing for the team in the postseason, because we've learned, we've established, we've dealt with it, we've lived with it. It does not work. It does not work.
That's your opinion, man.
Speaking of things that do not work, the Anaheim Angels are in town. And man,
hit the button.
Which one? Yeah, I'm gonna give you that. There you go. Because we missed it earlier at the show. The Los Angeles Dodgers of Los Angeles welcome the Anaheim Angels for a little hashtag Hollywood lifestyle at the Ravine. And I am not excited about this series because I'm ready for postseason baseball, but it's here and we have to play it. Where do you stand on this Angel series?
They're technically playing for a playoff spot. Somehow they're technically playing for a playoff spot. They would need a pretty epic. Do you know who the Astros are playing this weekend? Because I do not know who the Astros are playing this weekend.
They play the lowly Rangers.
Yeah, well, okay. Angels aren't making the playoffs then.
Yeah.
Angels would need to sweep the Dodgers out of Los Angeles and then have the Astros swept out of their little brother version of Texas, whatever. It's probably not going to happen, but it doesn't change the fact that the Angels are technically still playing for something.
Yeah.
And so that means that their guys will probably be in every inning of every game, of every second, every at-bat. They're going to be locked in on every at-bat. Not to say that the Dodgers aren't, but the Dodgers are literally playing for nothing. Like, absolutely nothing at this point. With that in mind, it sounds like that they're gonna play it safe when they need to. So if somebody has like a cramp or anything like that, they'll probably come out of games, but they're still gonna throw their starting guys out there. You look at the lineup tonight, they're throwing out all of their guys tonight. Will Smith's getting the DH opportunity. Austin Barnes catching Clayton Kershaw gets his designated catcher in Austin Barnes.
Kershaw's he's not gonna throw a short start either. He's supposed to have the full leash if he wants it.
So it sounds like the Dodgers are trying to go full steam ahead into the playoffs. They're not doing it like they have in years past. If you look back at years past, after we've clinched a division or after we've clinched a playoff spot or a high seed or something like that, you start seeing guys get starts where they wouldn't normally get starts, especially when it's September and the rosters expand and stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. It's different this year. They're ramping all the way up to the playoffs, and they're going into the playoffs rolling. So
Yep.
this series could potentially be really fun to watch. I mean, you look at guys like, I would say if you're looking for things to be excited about for the Dodgers during this series, you want to look for Corey Seager to stay hot. You also want to look for Mookie Betts to keep up that MVP talk, because realistically, you look at the stats, you look at things that he's working against, you look at the people he's competing with. Mookie's got a pretty good shot of winning the NL MVP this year, and it's going to come down to the wire, I think, between him and the dude in Atlanta.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman is having a phenomenal year. Probably deserves it, but we'll homer here and say Mookie deserves it. Plus, air quote, he's been there before, and we all know that baseball writers that vote on these sorts of things are, what's the word? Idiots.
Dumb.
And lazy.
Yeah.
So you could really easily see him, plus the story of Mookie, who, by the way, has the number one jersey in all of baseball in terms of fans selling or buying it. So good job, Mookie, for just existing in blue, I guess.
He's put up a 3.2 WAR.
Yeah.
Which is freaking amazing for a 60-game season in which he didn't play for like a week or something like that.
He missed 2 games.
Whatever.
Close
That's
enough.
enough.
And some games around it. Well, technically, he missed 2 games, but he 2 other games he came in defense. So.
Man, Fernando Tatis really fell off. Really fell off. He was leading Mookie Betts in WAR like at the start of September by a decent amount, not a lot, by a decent amount. He is like falling way off. He's at like 2.2 or 2.4 or something like that. I mean,
did you also notice that the Padres are falling way off? Ooh.
Yeah, man. Sucks to suck, man.
I do feel bad for Clevenger, though.
I do feel bad for Clevenger.
And for the fans, to be honest. Like,
they had this dude that they got specifically. They didn't get Clevenger to compete during the regular season. No. That wasn't the point of Clevenger. They got him to compete in the playoffs. They might get him back for the playoffs, but I'm going to go ahead and err on the side of caution and say that they probably don't get to see Clevenger in the playoffs this year. That's my opinion. It might change, but it sucks. If you're a fan, if you're part of the San Diego fan base, that really sucks.
And that's what the reports are, that this bicep issue for Mr. Mike Clevenger is going to keep him out. So
Chris Paddock's getting wrecked. Thank you, Ankit. Thanks for the update. I need my daily Chris Paddock update.
Hate.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's got to flow through me.
Helps the Giants possibly trying to get into that 7th seed or keep the 8th seed there. One of the things I do like in this Angel series is welcoming Tony Two Bags Rendon to LA to show him what winning feels like again, just to get a feel of it. You know, like, hey, this could have been you, but something he said made the Dodgers not want to even offer him a contract. So whatever, F that guy, FTP as the kids say that day. But yeah. This is going to be my Jim Beam hot shot of the week here. Did you see the narrative? And by now, and definitely by the time anybody happens to listen to this as a podcast, it's going to be probably a moot point. But there was the concept thrown about online about the Dodgers potentially losing this Anaheim series on purpose. So potentially Anaheim wins 3. And if the Astros happen to lose 3, they could or would or maybe might get bumped out of the postseason. Angels are 3 games back, so yeah, they need to win, and the other team, Houston, needs to lose out. Where are you on this before we get to the fan vote?
No.
Good call. Good call.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You don't lose on purpose, especially when you're trying to have the good vibes. Going into the postseason, going into the first time a 3-game series has been played, the first time this wild card round has happened. No, that's a no for me, dog. Just saying. The fans,
don't be dumb.
surprisingly split
So I went to vote on it because I was like, oh, this is an obvious no. And I was like, holy hell, it's like a dead is it still dead even right now?
It's pretty much dead even. It's 49-51. It has swung, and this is 2,000 votes on this in less than 4 hours. So this is people. There's 40 comments on this alone. It's kind of wild how much people have been in on this, and how I guess people hate the Astros more than they care about the Dodgers winning or something like that. But 49% of people right now, because the vote has swung into the, I'll say, smart direction, well, they want to hurt the Astros. 49% of voters want to hurt the Astros right now, and 51% are saying no, that's very, very dumb, which realistically is the right answer, because chances are you're gonna, of facing the Astros is going to be slim. Plus, I would honestly want the Astros. I would want the weak Astros to sneak into the playoffs so we could beat them potentially in the World Series, because FTPs.
Roach says, why is there an Angel fan in the stream? And I was just about to ask that same question.
I know.
Dante over on YouTube is really stressing the fact that the Angels are the real Los Angeles team somehow. I don't quite understand that, but apparently he thinks we're the Brooklyn Dodgers. We've been around here for a minute, man.
This is true.
Been here for a minute. You've been in Anaheim for too long.
Too long.
I don't know if you know where Anaheim is, but that's in Orange County,
which is not Los Angeles County.
So I've been told. If you're that close to Disneyland, you don't get to claim LA.
So the Disneyland Angels are here, and we appreciate you hanging out with us, Dante. Friend of the show. Now, new friend of the show. I guess we're getting outsider trolls, and I've seen him in the comments. I haven't known when to bring it up, but it's been funny.
It's a good time.
We appreciate you, but whatever. Yeah, again, play the right way. You don't go in and try to lose, because that's just dumb. Thank you. Speaking of dumb, I don't know if it's dumb. I guess this is a sort of another you either really like it or absolutely hate it type of vote, but are the Dodgers playing with too much house money? And I say house money meaning playing around with this opener thing and pushing starters back to the bulk role. Where are you at on that?
Well, I think it was earlier this week when Dave said that Dustin and Tony Gonsolin both were facing the possibility of coming out of the bullpen this weekend. Didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. And that, to me, that meant that both of those guys were being considered for the bullpen. And then maybe Julio was going to get the start. And then they had Julio come out of the bullpen. And then I was like, okay, well, they're trying to figure out who to bring out of the bullpen and who to start game 3. This is all that's coming down to right now.
Pretty much.
All they're trying to figure out is, of these 3 guys, which ones do we want to come out of the bullpen and which one do we want to start game 3? So,
yeah,
the reason why it upset me is because Tony Gonsolin is the only guy who should be starting game 3. It's not a close conversation. There's no conversation that should even be had at all.
No.
But I don't mind them testing stuff out like that. I don't mind them playing around and seeing how guys come out of the bullpen. So far, it seems to have been effective. I mean, Julio was probably the best he's been all year.
Save for Joe Kelly just having a bad outing. And realistically, he was using that outing. It looked like he was using that outing to get his curveball dialed in. I would hope. He threw it.
3 fastballs, 2 fastballs, or something
like 5. Oh wait, no, because there was also changeups in there. So yeah, changeup. They also called a sinker. The fastball sinker. Changeup. I like Spring Blur right here saying Kershaw, Buehler, Gonsolin. That's the way it needs to be.
Perfect.
With that said, I don't like it. I do not like the opener because I'm a traditionalist, and they're already ruining my damn game of baseball with all these kids on my lawn. But I do think it's a little bit too much bullpenning, but I understand why they're doing it now, because why not have an extra, ace up your sleeve if you need it in the postseason? We've done the same thing year in, year out. Guess what? It didn't work. It hasn't worked doing... Here are our 3 starters. Here's the 4th guy that maybe might get into a game, and then they don't throw until the World Series. And Alex Wood had a great start in that World Series in 2017. But when you have that, then you're kind of limiting yourself and potentially putting somebody like Dustin May just sitting there chilling instead of being able to throw him in a bulk role for 3 or 4 innings, like 2 or 3 days, mixing him around, like him being able to come out of the bullpen. It's kind of cool. It's a little bit of something different. again, I don't like it, but I like the idea of changing it up and just having one more card to play in the postseason.
I'm all right with, I'm fine with whatever they're going to do over these last couple of games. I like Dave Roberts being more flexible and moving away from the more typical use of pitching, only because his typical use of pitching has not been good. His bullpen management, if you have not heard, is not great. So anything that you can do to mix that up a little bit, in my mind, I'm all for it. Let's do it. Let's get it done. I do like the idea of kind of the mystery of a Game 3 starter. So if you're going against a team like the Reds, them not knowing who they're going to draw Game 3 kind of messes with them, kind of changes things up for them, maybe changes their approach a little bit, maybe throws them off their game a little bit. If you're going, hey, am I getting Dustin May? Am I getting Tony Gonsolin? Am I getting Julio? Am I somehow getting like a bullpen guy to start and then somebody to eat up the rest of the innings after? You don't know where you're going to get, and I kind of like that.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
You think Dave. Dave's going to be fair about it. He's not going to spring it on somebody. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to throw Dustin May out there and then be like, ha! Turns out it was going to be Urias the whole time.
Right. He would do it the day before, like after Game 2, and be like, hey, tomorrow this person's starting, because he does that.
Somebody like the Reds, somebody like, I don't know, I haven't seen the Giants of late, so I don't know what Kapler and Zaidi have done over there in terms of platooning. So do let us know if your guys are platooning more.
We need to know.
I need to know right now. We're gonna wait. That's I guess that's the name of the episode. We're gonna wait, because I've said that a few times tonight. Why not? It's Friday. I haven't had enough to drink,
and we're gonna wait for the wild card series.
That we are.
So that's a good episode title.
But the other teams, especially the Reds they seem to have one lineup, so it's not like it's going to change very much left or right. They're going to throw in like Joey Votto and Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos, and they're going to hope for the best. Mike Moustakas is going to be in there against everybody. They're going to hope they get something out of Suarez at third. That's their guys. Those are their guys. And that's what makes the big difference between teams like the Reds and teams like the Dodgers. Just over a 162 game season, it's that the Dodgers can throw in. The Reds would kill to have somebody like Kike on their team.
Unfortunately,
Kike started one game plus tonight, plus Friday night. He started like one game in the last 6 or 7 days. He's bad, but
they've definitely weaned off of him, and I'm grateful for that. It's definitely been enjoyable to watch games now. But he is that kind of guy on a typical team, not the Dodgers, on a typical team that you would love to have in your lineup, and you would love to have the option of using him anywhere in your lineup and moving him around and getting guys rest and all these things. So something that we take for granted. Ray points it out over on YouTube, says the Dodgers have the most depth and positional versatility of any team left. That will pay off huge now in the playoffs. Just watch. And that's absolutely true. Couldn't have said it better myself. I think that the Dodgers are by far the deepest team going into these playoffs. If you looked at the preseason, if you looked at the rankings before, if you looked at the teams without having played any games yet, you would think the Dodgers and the Yankees were going to go toe-to-toe. The Yankees prove that they do not have the depth to withstand significant injury, and that has really shown, because the Yankees are straight up bad, and if the Yankees by some miracle made the World Series this year, they would get dominated by whoever they played, even if it wasn't the Dodgers. So with that in mind, depth is important, gets you far. Versatility is important, gets you far, and we have both of those. With
Kike, we got to remind people, by the way, soak him up while you can. This is it. This is it. Enrique Hernandez will be in another uniform next year. There's very little doubt of that. And here's your last 3 games of regular season. Hell, maybe Friday night is his final start officially as a Dodger. Might as well soak it up. I mean, the guy's had some big moments in blue.
Them, yeah.
I was looking here. I wanted to catch up on what the scores are, which again is going to be great for the podcast side, but I think so. St. Louis is playing right now. They lost game 1, so as of right now, St. Louis and the Reds are tied for the second spot in the NL Central.
But they're up on the Brewers right now, and they're
the Brewers. Yeah, the Brewers don't. They're with that law. Oh wait, so now the Brewers are up. So I get you there. I'm looking more at that, because all of a sudden you can have the Reds move up to that 4th or 5th spot, and it's like, hey, this is we don't have to worry about the Reds anymore. Again, it's more things we're going to find out. This is just the fun of doing this type of stuff right now.
It's not that fun.
We're live. You're not having fun?
Yeah, fun. I like fun.
Well, I mean, I guess save for talking more about the drunk dude driving in a tractor. I hope he was drunk. He had to be drunk, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know why people do anything in life anymore, but sure. Let's assume he had a few beers or something. It is Miller Park. Oh, it's not Miller Park anymore.
3 more games. What are your predictions, prediction master?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Dodgers win the next 2, and then Angels take Sunday. I don't know. Sure.
I'll give the one in the middle. The Dodgers will lose the middle
They
game.
lose the middle finger?
They're gonna bookend it.
You're saying that Tony Gonsolin's gonna lose a game?
Yeah, because I
Idiot.
like him. He's a nice boy.
He's not gonna lose a game.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe somebody else. Oh,
You don't know anything.
Analysis. On that note, we will wrap up now because I got to get all the way home to watch the game. I do like sports. Thank you guys for hanging out with us on a random-ish Friday show. We'll probably continue doing multiple shows per week during the postseason. Of course, check out our DN postgame show with Doug McCain 3 times a week right now. But in the playoffs, I would not be surprised to see Doug going live after every game. We just hope there's a lot of games that go live after. So either go celebrate with him in the playoffs or be very, very pissed
Yell at him.
with him
Yell at Doug.
in the playoffs. With all that said, you want more Dodgers content? Check us out, DodgersNation.com. You can find us there on the internet. He writes there, I write there. I mean, that's kind of the majority of it, I guess. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are a podcast, and we are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, Pandora, Amazon, Alexa. I had to do it again. I didn't think I was going to do it to him, but I did it to him. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. We would be very, very grateful if you did that now. Thank you.
We'll wait.
We'll wait.
Guys, I am at BrokeMe3. This guy over here is at RealFRG. We are both on Twitter and Instagram. We are at Dodger Nation on Twitter, at Officials Dodger Nation on, what's that called? Instagram. That's the other thing that's called. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for hanging out with us specifically on a Friday because we all know you guys are drinking, got big plans for the weekend, even though you can't go out and do anything in real life or whatever. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for the Angels fan just for showing up. We appreciate you guys. Have a good Friday night. Be safe, and we'll see you on Monday.
Bye.